splashing at the splash park. The other day I took my kids to a free splash park by the river. Just a concrete slab with lots of fun water sprinklers. It was, of course, crowded with families and children of all ages, but for the most part, all the kids were getting along and watching out for the littler ones. I was focusing on my kids, but heard a mom from the table next to me loudly complain to her friend about how the big kids were playing. You know what I hate? When the big kids put their foot over the water and make it spray all over everyone. Like, why do that? I don't get it. There are babies here. I thought, geez, lady. It's a splash park. Everyone here wants to get wet, and there are literally sprinklers everywhere doing that very thing. There were tables outside the fence for parents who didn't want to play in the water with their kids. Just then, her cute little girl toddled up to a big kid who was currently doing this. She giggled, looked at the sprinkler next to him, and sat on it. Water sprayed horizontally in every direction and soaked her mother, who was just complaining about the big kids doing much less. She gave a huge gasp and rushed to pick up her giggling baby, who was obviously not the one worried about getting sprayed at a splash park. Baby had learned a new game and did it 3 more times while her mom tried to laugh it off, but soon couldn't pretend to enjoy it anymore, and she packed up all their things and left. Oh well. At least her daughter has a sense of humor. Let my children cut in line. This could also qualify as r/Amethyst hole. This is my first time posting here, so I'm not sure if this is a rep. My friends and I went to the water park, just the 3 of us. We were just about to leave, but decided on one more slide before we go. We were standing in line to this fairly steep slide. The line was going fast, so we decided on it. As we were heading up the stairs, 2 girls were running down as we were ascending. Whatever, thought they were scared like I was, and decided not to go. As we were waiting, the same 2 came back with single tubes. I guess maybe they grabbed the wrong one / thought they didn't need it, and stood behind my 2 friends. All of a sudden I hear, let them go by. They're my kids, they just needed the tubes. We look up, and it's the M staring down at us. I believe it was almost always her turn to go down the slide, so she was just holding up the line to scold us. I looked back at my friends to nod, gesturing to let them go. It's hot. I'm not in the mood to be confrontational, and I had a long drive ahead. At this point I'm ready to let them through until once again, they're my kids, let them pass. So my friends did. The reason of hesitation is that these girls were old enough to go by themselves. They didn't look scared. The slide was a singular tube only, and they both grabbed a 2-person tube each and just left it on the slippery staircase. So I'm guessing the mom sent them down to get their own tubes. The slide was steep, but it was a quick ride. The mom was going first and cold waited for them at the bottom. I applaud her parenting to compared to the parents who weren't paying attention to their toddlers, but at the same time it wasn't a big deal. I didn't care, honestly. It was hot as fuck, and my friends were the ones who were more upset about it. I'm glad she was concerned for the safety of her daughters, but didn't encourage them to clean after themselves and just create a hazard on the already wet staircase. M tells me off because I got a good parking spot. This happened a few years ago but always stuck with me, and figured I'd share an experience I had with an entitled parent to be. I was at the supermarket. I had finished my shopping and at my car ready to put away my groceries. I had the trunk open and started putting things away when an obviously pregnant woman, 7 to 9 months, came up to me and started yelling at me that she had to walk far because all the parking spaces were taken. At first I didn't realize she was talking to me and carried on, which I guess pissed her off even more. She started shaking her head and walking in the direction of the entrance. I was confused until realized I was parked in the spot next to the expecting mother's spaces. I cold ignored her and left it at that, but instead I decided to say something as politely as possible and point out the misunderstanding. So I said, "No, sorry, you misunderstood. I'm not in the expecting mother's space." And I made a weird cringy face, as if to tell her it's fine, no hard feelings. But then she hits me with a bitch face and says, "Yay, I know, but you cold left it open for some time, who needs it more?" And she walked away in disgust. What the fuck? I had nothing. No comeback, no expression. My will to live on this planet with these people was sucked right out of me. I could almost hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm song playing as I held my pathetic shopping bags. I'll never forget that exchange. Stay away from my son. I know your type of woman, you'll seduce him. So I just found this sub, but this story is from 2 years ago. I'm on mobile and English is my second language, feel free to correct me though. Cast, me, 24F, MF, my fiancé, also 24F, M, entitled Momoji, random guy. This is the story. So 2 years ago my fiancé and I were looking for an apartment we could afford near the university we both go to. We didn't know the city prior to moving, so we pretty much looked everywhere. We were scheduled to see an apartment in a badish neighborhood, a fact which we didn't know at the time. The building numbers weren't aligned, and it was pretty confusing, so we stopped in a small convenience store to ask for directions. My fiancé and I are both girly girls, so we don't strike people as a couple, and my fiancé was wearing a black dress, not too revealing at all. Outside the convenience store there is a table for customers to sit, and there sits M and RG. We stop and ask for directions. RG points us to the right house, but then M, stop. Where do you think you're going? I know girls like you, points at my fiancé. Stay away from my son. MF, excuse me? M, you're not as innocent as you look. Girls like you just want to grab a guy and use his money. You stay away from my son. MF, I assure you that I'm not looking for a boyfriend, and I don't even know who your son is. M, you're lying. I bet you do know him. Girls like you shouldn't live in this neighborhood. We don't need your type around here. Go away. At this point we start walking away from the woman, but she continues to scream at us. M, that's right. Walk away. I'll kill you if I hear from my son that you're his new girlfriend. The RG was surprisingly behaving as if this whole thing is normal. I can assure you that the woman didn't seem drunk or high. At the time it was pretty scary because it was nighttime and we were just us two girls alone in this situation. But now we just laugh at it